love is an ocean, you can drown me. The sweet embrace, the lovely taste, I taste and see. I'm Monday grace, the place to be. It means I'll never need an umbrella. I'm cool in the cold, in the hot weather, whether or never I ever understand. I'm a man in the hands of great plans to stand with fake dead in life. I never know the touch, it's just stop a clutch, but I'm like, what's the dream of? What's the hope in? What's the doubt for? Live to no end, this is living. The life I've been given is a gift. If I'm living, I'm living to death. So what's the dream of? What's the hope in? What's the doubt for? And live to no end, this is living. The life I've been given is a gift. If I'm living, I'm living to death. Yeah.
Our class, yep. And so like team meetings and different classes.
With a dream, my cardigan.
Yeah.
Welcome to the land of fame excess. Am I gonna fit in? Jumped in the cab, here I am for the first time. Look to my right and I see the Hollywood sign. This is all so crazy. Everybody seems so famous. My tummy's turning and I'm feeling kind of homesick. So much pressure and I'm nervous. When the taxi man turned on the radio and a Jay-Z song was on. And a Jay-Z song was on. And a Jay-Z song was on. So I put my hands up to play my song. The butterflies fly away. Nodding my head like yeah. Moving my hips like yeah. Got my hands up to play my song. You know I'm gonna be okay. Yeah. It's a party in the USA. Yeah. It's a party in the USA. Get to the club in the taxi cab. Everybody's looking at me now. Like, who's that chick that's rocking kicks? She gotta be from out of town. So hard with my girls not around me. It's definitely not a Nashville party. Cause all I see is the letter. I guess I never got the memo. My tummy's turning and I'm feeling kinda homesick. Too much pressure and I'm nervous. It's when the DJ dropped my favorite tune. And a Britney song was on. And a Britney song was on. And a Britney song was on. So I put my hands up to play my song. The butterflies fly away. Nodding my head like yeah. Moving my hips like
Oh, we're
yeah.
talking about-
Got my hands up to play my song. You know I'm gonna be okay.
How do you know?
It's a party in
What?
the
Pretty sure you answered well.
Yeah.
It's a party in the USA. Feel like I've been on a flight back to my hometown tonight.
Oh, really? That's your typical spot?
Every time.
I never had a typical spot.
The DJ plays my song and I feel alright. So my hands up to play my song. The butterflies fly away. Nodding my head like yeah. Moving my hips like yeah. Got my hands up to play my song. You know I'm gonna be okay. Yeah. It's a party in the USA. It's a party in the USA. My hands up to play my song. The butterflies fly away. Nodding my head like yeah. Moving my hips like yeah. Got my hands up to play my song. You know I'm gonna be okay. It's a party in the USA. It's a party in the USA.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday. You got mud on your face, you big disgrace, kicking your can all over the place, singing, we will rock you.
say all the words inside my head. I'm tired of the way that things have been. Oh, ooh, the way that things have been. Oh, second, don't you tell me what you think that I can be. I'm the one at the sail, I'm the master of my sea. Oh, ooh, the master of my sea. I was broken from a young age, taking my soak into the masses, writing my poems for the few that look at me, took at me, shook at me, feeling me, singing from heartache, from the pain, taking my message from the veins, speaking my lesson from the brain, seeing the beauty through the. Send a prayer to the ones up above. All the hate that you heard has turned your spirit to a dove. Oh, ooh, your spirit up above. Oh, I was choking in the ground, building my rain up in the cloud, falling like ashes to the ground, hoping my feelings they would drown, but they never did, ebbing and flowing, inhibited, limited, till it broke up when it rained down. It rained down like. Last days last by the grace of the fire and the flames. You're the face of the future, the blood in my veins. Oh, ooh, the blood in my veins.
No.
How's it going?
Good yourself?
But they never did, ever did, ever did,
I am.
limited, till it broke up when it rained down.
Okay,
It
perfect.
rained
Actually, I'm gonna set them up because I have my nanny Alexis coming. Okay. And then you can check your text and email for what's been canceled. Hey, how are you? We're kind of matching today. Wild pattern bottoms. Yeah. But I'll be right back. I guess so.
That's kind of my wardrobe, pretty much, so. It's my life. How dare you? Where are the babies? It's a quick one. That's how you worked it out, I love it. She got stuck. There you go, she's the one who suggested it. Yes, she did. I love it.
Get your pretty feet up on my dash. No need to go nowhere fast. Just enjoy right here with me. Who knows where this road is supposed to lead? We got nothing but time. As long as you're right here next to me, everything's gonna be alright. It is meant to be. It'll be. It'll be. Baby, just let it be. It is meant to be. It'll be. So won't you ride with me, see where this thing goes. It is meant to be, it'll be, baby, it's meant to be.
How are you?
Yeah, no, you're good.
Lisa, this is Alexis.
Nice to meet you.
She's my girlfriend.
Oh, and you're one of their most favorite people in the world.
Exactly, but I just introduced her twice as second mother to my children, and they both.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Oh, how nice to have you here.
Yeah. How far am I even? There's got a man there, and then I'm gonna run police. I'm so nervous. This is Scotty. Hi. She's one of the most successful realtors here.
Was she at the house that day too?
She's like, I've done all
Yes,
these plans.
I think I met, yeah.
Yeah, and I told her, I was like,
At our house with our girl.
but my parents.
But she's getting her real estate license, and I
Okay.
starting out
Right. Yeah, they've definitely come a long way. So I'm like, it's gonna be fine. I'm like, maybe I should look at that.
I just did a concrete room yesterday, and I was like, I should pay for it.
Great.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, starting at the ground run.
Okay. I know. Yeah. I love. So I'm like, are you gonna bring it in? Pass it around. So cute. And you have three, right? Yes. And what are their ages?
Jameson is turning 6 next month. Okay. He just turned 3 last
Thank you.
I was in bed, no, I was in bed at 8 o'clock last night, so when you texted me at 8:10, I was like, oh, text her at 5 in the morning.
I got it before 9.
Nope, I was, oh.
Thank you.
Stars. Thank you. I have a master in my subject. Hi guys, how's it going? Good. Welcome back from California. Is it hard to come back? I do love California very much.
We're gonna get started in 2 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, Brett and Sherry taught this.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, if I tell you where I have a stairs in my car, that's probably anyway, I have a master with my coach on Zoom at 11, so that's where I'm headed. Bye. How are you? Good.
I don't know if I've ever said hi to you in person either. I mean, I see you, but. Oh, Lisa Rican. Well, Melissa, so I work with Melissa, partner with her.
Oh, I need to know. I don't know about.
Am I what? Yeah, I probably was. I mean, I started in February, so, I went through some stuff because I've been a realtor for 4 years. I worked with the Field Stokes, so that's how I got to know Melissa. And so then I went to some of their stuff and then, you know, was interested in the, what is yeah, I did do that for the length of time I was supposed to. And I would put it in what I would call steady. For me, not Melissa, but for me, most of my clients are first-time home buyers. Oh, they are having to sit on the sidelines because they are being priced out, right? And then they get so beat up, and then they, you know. And I know if I'm working with someone with money, all the strategies I tell them to do work, but you have to have money to do it, right? Or 3% down, and then they don't want to bid higher because they can't really. And then anything that's below, like so I'm like, you have money to bid with, right? And so then you gotta look below where you'd love to be, but they don't like that. I don't know, actually. So how about you? Oh, wow. Yeah, that's nice.
I've always liked that too. I mean, this time of year, I just do always slow down, and I need it.
Are hear they said in one of the meetings that it's a luxury you can get private things. They get private things,
I saw it today, I'm like, maybe she's just gonna return it.
Right. Hey. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad to see all your beautiful faces. We are gonna have a great time in this next hour, and I don't know if anybody saw on Facebook, but I did put a challenge out that if you brought a joke to the class, there'd be prizes. Did anybody bring a joke?
I got one.
Great!
What did the Happy Realtor put on their sign?
Sold, yeah, right, okay.
Lots to be thankful for.
Lots.
Oh my gosh, lots to be thankful for, that is so good. Treats.
That's a Melissa joke.
Got him in
Yeah, right, exactly. You're welcome. Does anybody else have a joke for me?
has one.
I do.
Sarah Rostanz, tell me, I'll save you a treat.
What did the hen say when she looked at the pile of lettuce?
Pile of what?
Lettuce, like the vegetable?
We don't have guesses. Tell us, Sarah.
Chicken sees a salad.
Oh my gosh, that is my new favorite joke, Sarah. You can have all of these. What's your favorite candy?
Oh, I don't know. Anything that doesn't have nuts.
All right. I'll save you something nut-free. Does anybody else have a joke? Melissa.
I do, but I had my daughter record it last night because she was reading a joke book, and I said, Melissa would love this. So I'll play it for you, and then you can repeat it.
Perfect.
You ready?
Yeah, play it. Okay, what kind of vegetable has the worst manners?
A rutabaga.
A rutabaga! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh, what
That's
would she
for you. I'll
like?
send it to
She's
you.
so sweet.
Ooh.
I know.
Would they like this? Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
Smart. Okay. Well, if anybody, I'm not going to suggest that you be looking up jokes while we're going through our class, but if you think of one, there are more treats left over. All right. Well, we do have a lot to cover today, and I'm going to do my very best to get us all the way through all of it. I want to start with a couple of things that to set the tone. Okay, first of all, I'm Melissa. I think I know most of you, and some of you are new, but I met you briefly. So I'm Melissa. I'm the team leader here. Couple of things. Oh, we've got handouts actually. We need to pass up. Let's just start making those. Go around the room. I'll bring. Oh yeah, maybe go that way. Okay, this way, and eventually they'll get their way around. All right. So I'm gonna ask, I know I coach a lot of our top agents, and one thing that all of them are working on is being more present. So I'm not necessarily gonna suggest that this is gonna be the most important hour that you spend in your entire life. But I will tell you that if you are present, you can start to build your presence muscle, and also you will leave with some really good nuggets. So here's what I'm gonna suggest. I'm gonna suggest that you remove distractions. What's the number one distraction in our life right now?
Phones.
Yeah. So I know you're not going to remove it, throw it in the garbage, but maybe just set it aside and challenge yourself not to mess with it for an hour. Be intentional, engage. I know that when I engage with anytime I'm taking a class, when I engage with it, I learn so much more. So engage, and on your handout, you're going to see a couple of things. So this is. I'm a big fan of like keeping notes in places, so I'm giving you a spot here where you can take lots of notes. And on the last page, you're gonna see a couple of things. Down here is a box and it says 80% to do, okay? So as we sit here together, the things that you might like, oh my gosh, I gotta make myself a note because I need to text this person, you know, the things that you might normally pick your phone up for, just jot that down on your to-do list. So you've got a safe little space that you can put your little to-do list there. And then we'll talk about the back sheet when we get there. And then let's see here. So we're gonna go fast. We are gonna go really fast. So just do your best to take as many notes as you can.
I'm gonna save 10 or 15 minutes at the end for us to share ahas, because I find that we learn a lot when we have a little bit of a discussion together. So there'll be time at the end for us to share our ahas. I want to start this off though by making a little list. So this is the engagement part. We're going to participate. What did you come to this session hoping you'd learn? I want to be sure that we cover everything that you're hoping we cover. So let's just get a list going here. What's your expectation for this class? What are you hoping you walk away with?
Insight.
Okay. Anything particular?
Insight to be successful.
Okay. Love it. What else?
A framework for a 2022 business plan.
Okay. What else? Oh, Marquez, we missed your joke. Why'd the chicken cross the road? Tell us. Or write it. I'm gonna guess it's not to get to the other side.
Yep, to get to the other side.
I'm gonna eat a half a box of the candy that I want, and then I'll leave the rest for you. That you get a half. You get half credit for that, Marquez.
Sounds good.
Make up for it by a better joke, though. So you got time. What else? What else? What other expectations? What other things that we hope to walk away with? So far, I'm gonna nail it. So.
Some creative marketing ideas that I haven't used in the past.
Ooh, creative marketing ideas. Okay. Cool.
Set your business up for success, like as far as like next steps, maybe build a team or next hire.
Okay. Setting your business up for success. And maybe some team or hiring.
Financials and stuff like that.
Say that again?
And maybe like financials, like what you should be doing with your financials to move to the next level.
Okay. Cool. Anything else?
Knowing how to successfully prioritize.
Ooh. How to prioritize. Love it. Anything else? Anyone on Zoom, you can type it into chat if you want. This is great, and so I want to be sure that that I have set the clearest expectations I can for what we are going to cover today. So has anybody heard? I think it's Malcolm Gladwell who did a study who kind of determined that it was like 10,000 hours is about the number of hours you need to have devoted to something to kind of get some mastery around it. 10,000 hours, it's a lot. And although I'm going to suggest that mine is over a broad area, and so I'm in no way saying that I've achieved mastery, but one of the really fun things about the job that I have is that I get to attend all the training. I get to go to all the family reunions, all the mega camps. I get to interview top agents all the time. I get to coach top agents. I get to be coached by people. And so through that, throughout my real estate career, and I am a student. I think the thing that attracted me to Gary Keller from the start, I mean, Keller Williams is the reason I'm in real estate. I didn't pick real estate and then pick a broker. I picked a career because of Gary Keller. And it's because he, like me, studies the successful people and figures out what they do and then builds a plan for it. I am not, in any way going to suggest that any of these are my ideas, but I've really paid attention to people who are successful at various things, and I've distilled that down into some best practices. Now, the only other expectation I want to set is that do not in any way think that I'm telling you that this is what you have to do, that all of this is what it takes to be successful. This is a mixture of things because each one of us comes to our profession, and this is probably the most fun thing about this profession, is that whatever skill set we show up with, we can maximize and leverage that and work on figuring out other ways to get the other parts done. But you can be successful with any set of skills and background. That's the coolest thing about this business. So I want you to take all the notes you can, and then at the end we're gonna save time for you to do the ahas, and then I'm gonna share with you a way that you can turn this into action.
Can I add one for that?
Yes, okay.
How do I consistently lead gen?
Consistently lead gen. Anyone having trouble with that?
And not hate it, but yeah, that. Or dread it.
Yep.
That's a chicken.
And not dread it. Okay. Okay, awesome. What I can promise you is that we're gonna touch on all of these aspects, but one of the other secret reasons I make lists like this is because this forms a framework for the next classes that we offer. So now I know what we need to take a deeper dive into from this class, so that's gonna be super fun. All right, so let's get started. And I'm gonna rely on you guys to help me keep an eye on chat. If you see anybody post a question or something, will you let me know, because I'm probably gonna miss it. All right, here we go. I'm gonna start, we're gonna go into categories. We're gonna do mindset, we're gonna go habits, we're gonna talk about your sphere, we're gonna talk about tools, scripts that you should master, we're gonna talk a little bit about the industry, marketing, business tactics, growth, the growth plan, wealth building, and then what you should be doing daily, weekly, monthly. We're gonna finish off with some mistakes that you're gonna avoid, the keys to being successful, and wisdom. Okay, that's a lot we're gonna cover, so we're going right in. All right, couple of things mindset-wise. You can do anything, but you can't do everything. That is a mindset piece that will serve you well in this business. So that kind of builds from what I was just saying. You're gonna take a lot of notes. I don't expect that you're gonna do all the things. And so what's important, an important skill is to be able to determine what's best for you, okay? This is another mindset piece. And again, some of this comes from just a lot of coaching conversations. But so these are some mindset things that I've seen serve people well and I've seen people struggle with. I don't care what the topic is, you are worth more. That is across the board. I can cry talking about that. Because I'm here to tell you that on any aspect of your business, whether it's negotiating your commission or even having that conversation with people, whether it's giving up your time, whether it's prioritizing your business over your family or over yourself, let me just be clear, you are worth more. You are worth more. And so go up, here's something that I think has served a lot of people well, go above and beyond every single time. And I think the perfect example of this that everybody can understand is if listing photography, okay? When I was selling, I don't care if I have a $60,000 trailer listing, I'm getting my best photographer out there. We're gonna make that puppy shine. That's gonna be the prettiest trailer you ever saw. You're gonna be like, I would pay at least $62,000 for that $60,000 trailer. Here's the key though. Everything you do, you're interviewing for your next job. So I really think that that is an important thing to do. How you do anything is how you do everything. That's a good mindset for you to keep in mind. I also just encourage you to be a light. There's a lot of opportunities to be a dark person, to be a cranky person, to be especially when we're talking about co-op agents, sometimes, you know, emotions are heightened and we think that they're being a little schminy or, you know, they could be a better professional. Well, first of all, tell them that perhaps KW is what they're missing in their life. But just be a light in every transaction you've got. This is something that maybe is a little controversial. I think that some people might push back on this, and this is okay with me. This is just a suggestion. Something that served me well was I always considered myself on a job interview. So when I'm posting something on Facebook, when I am at the grocery store, if I'm out door knocking, if I'm at a dinner party, I'm considering that I am on a job interview. So I want to look the part. I mean, I don't have to be wearing heels, but I want to look the part. I want to be ready at all times to have a conversation about the industry. How's the market doing? Great. super dead moment and you missed an opportunity. So always have a couple of things that are interesting and going to be engaging to answer that question with. You know, Facebook, I mean, some people use Facebook to be very vocal about their opinions, and I have no judgment about that. I just suggest that, you know, we have an opportunity to open ourselves up to everybody. And so, you know, I just, you know, I just throw that out as a suggestion. It's just to consider that you're always on a job interview. People are always watching us. It's like I talk about with kids, you know, they learn from watching you more than they learn from listening to you. I didn't listen when I was a kid, so I don't know if kids listen these days. Maybe they do. All right, boundaries. Boundaries would be another thing that I would highlight for you. You could work around the clock in this industry. You all know that. A lot of you are very experienced agents. You know that if you let yourself work around the clock, you could work around the clock. Because you've got clients who don't sleep, apparently. And they will be emailing you at all hours. And that doesn't mean that you have to email them back. One of my favorite things is Boomerang in Gmail. That is, I think that's what it's called. I just put about it, but I'm pretty sure it's called Boomerang. And you can schedule the send of your email. So you can write that email at 5 in the morning because you're up and you want to get it off your plate. But if you set a little like timer for it to, or you know, if you schedule it and it goes at 8 instead of 5, now if they are up and then they responded at 5:15, now they might expect that you're going to respond back and have a conversation, and you didn't necessarily want that. You just wanted to get it off your plate, right? So, but anyway, about boundaries, and just remember that you have a choice in all of it. Your clients don't know what to expect. They don't. We teach people how to treat us. Oprah taught me that one. Good old Oprah. You know, people treat each other how to treat each other. And so if you are always responding in 3 seconds, then they just expect that's how you work. And so don't be frustrated when they're disappointed that you took 3 hours to get back to them. You trained them. So I mean that to be empowering though. You have a choice. Also at KW, everybody knows that our values are God, family, and then business. On the second sheet of your notes, this is a little bit interactive. Brent, you'll see a heart on that second sheet down there. Okay, on the back of that heart, this is a little activity that you're gonna do. You don't have to do it right now necessarily, but you could. Brene Brown talks about this. She says everybody should carry around a 1-inch square of paper. And on that 1-inch square of paper, you write the names of the people who matter most to you. And if you got big handwriting like me, you could put 3 names on there, you know? But maybe you got small handwriting. But the bottom line is you can't fit 20 names on there. And the reason why this is a powerful thing is that when you get yourself into a situation where you're like, oh man, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do that? How will it impact the people on your square? Because these are the people who matter most. So if it's like, oh man, I told my kid I was gonna go to the soccer game, but now I got this big listing appointment. You know what? The kids matter more. They're on the square. I'm gonna assume. I mean, maybe not. Depends on how many kids you got. Your favorite kid's on there anyhow. So, you know, but the clients, number 1, they'll get over it. And number 2, they'll respect you. And number 3, if they don't A or B, you don't want them anyhow. Favorite thing I ever did, best thing I ever did was hire $1 million buyer client. And, you know, 5 years ago, $1 million was more than it is now. I know you're all selling $1 million houses now, but it was a big deal for me. And he was horrible, so I fired him. And you know what? I picked up 3 clients right afterwards that I probably wouldn't have as a result of just getting him out of my life. Here's another thing on mindset to be mindful of or to think about. I think it's Andy Stanley who this is his quote. You'll never be more than 80% certain about almost anything. Never going to be more than 80% certain. It's better to execute 100% on an 80% plan than to execute 80% on your 100% plan. And I'm gonna take that a step further and tell you that if you're aiming for a 100% plan, you're procrastinating.
Can you say that one more time?
Yes, it's better to execute 100% on an 80% plan than to execute 80% on a 100% plan. And here is, I feel like this is my mantra. Consistent mediocre trumps inconsistent excellence every time. So if you do something consistently, even if it's marginally well done, you know, if you make calls to your sphere and you don't have the best script, you don't have the best reason to call them, you just call them and say, hey, it's Melissa at KW. I'm checking in on you. And that's all you say. Friends, let me tell you, you're gonna have success. Now, if you get better at it, you'll have even better success. But doing something consistently, it really doesn't matter what it is the most important thing I can tell you to do. Which moves us right into habits. What's the most important? Oh, we're gonna give a prize for this. What is the most important thing you should do every single day as a real estate agent? What's your number one job, as Gary Keller would say? And what is the first thing, and maybe the only thing, which is your 20%? What is it?
Lead gen.
Let's all say it together. Lead gen. And let's get specific. Lead gen for what? Listings. Sarah, say it louder. Lead gen for listings. I moved it, but yeah, but your husband had a tree. He had a tree in his pool, I saw. That was just a shame. Two trees. Oh, that's right, 2 trees in the pool. Not anymore, though. I love that you guys have such a good attitude about that. That is not the attitude I would have if I found 2 trees in my pool. It really isn't. Okay, habits. Does anybody have some bad habits that they can share? And we're not gonna go.
We're not gonna share. They're there though.
Let's say, okay, that person down the hall from you, that real estate agent down the hall from you, tell us about some bad habits you've observed in their life. It's really easy to spot bad habits. And I'm not talking about personal, but let's talk about business bad habits. What are some bad habits we've observed?
Procrastination.
Procrastination.
Not being where your feet are.
Ooh. I'm gonna add that to the wisdom. Not being where your feet are.
Reactionary. Be where you're planted. A reactionary.
Reactionary. Okay.
Well, I mean, like, it can take over your whole schedule, right, when you're reacting, which I do.
Yes.
Phone.
Picking up, so not picking up the phone would be the bad habit.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you're just too afraid. I just gave you a script. When in doubt, if it's lead gen time and you have not, you listened to Tom Ferry this morning thinking he's gonna give you a great script and he didn't, he failed. You were like, oh my gosh, thanks a lot, man. What's your script? I just gave it to you.
Just checking in on you.
Ringy dingy. Just checking in, just checking in. I tell you what, my dentist hasn't called to check in on me, and if he did, I'd probably sign up for that whitening. I'm not going to, because he doesn't check. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about me. All right, so the top 20% lead generate for listings. We did this before. I'm not going to do it again because we don't have time. The one thing thing. Maybe I'll teach you in the next team meeting. The one thing thing. If you can make 1,800,000 and what do we decide? 1 million. Okay, I'm just gonna give you the punchline. You love jokes. All right, the punchline is if you lead generate for one listing appointment a week, if you just spend 1 day a week lead generating for 40 weeks out of the year, meaning you have how many weeks off? 12 weeks off. So you took 12 weeks off, you worked 1 day out of the week for generated 1 listing appointment, you'd make $180,000. Now, I know that some of you make a lot more than that, but I just asked you to work 1 day of the week, and I said that you could have 12 weeks off. So let's just say that you decided you were gonna work 4 days. 4 days out of the week, you lead generated, you still took the 12 weeks off because you're bougie and you just like to take vacations, you like to treat yourself. 4 days of the week, $1,872,000. You're crushing it. So I actually lied about that. That was if you were crappy. If you're a crappy agent, $180,000. But once you got better at your skills and you were nailing your listing appointments, $468,000 is how much you make. Okay, so that's just a clip notes on that. We can go deeper into that another time. All right, let's move on to, okay, a couple other habits that I want you to think about. You know your top 20%. It's lead generate for listings all day, every day. And that's not even true. 2 to 3 hours a day. If you lead generate consistently 2 to 3 hours a day, and I'm not talking about that lead generating where you have it time blocked on your calendar for 2 to 3 hours, but then you find yourself procrastinating just a little bit, and then now all of a sudden it's down to like you got 15 minutes and boy, you're gonna make some calls. Well, I called 6 people in that 15 minutes. Well, I got 2 people to talk to me. Well, didn't get a listing appointment today. No, seriously devote 2 to 3 hours a day. And actually, this is a piece that I was gonna share for the end, but I really think that this is important for me to tell you now, just in case you're on a time. Likely I will. Here's the thing. Decide how much money you wanna make. Let's just say to yourself, man, okay, if I was gonna go get a job, if I was going to get a job today, how much money would they pay me? I don't know. Okay, well, how much money would you want them to pay you? What would make you happy? If you've got to put 40 hours in, how much money do you want them to pay you? $250,000, $400,000, $1 million, whatever your number is. Get this, you have that job, and your boss is you. So you have that job, but here's the key with it. You have got to show up and be present. You can't, or you're gonna need to fire yourself, right? Like you've got to treat the job that you have as if it is $1 million job. Your boss is not gonna be, if you had a salary of $1 million, now in the real world, the more you make, it seems like the less you work. That's what I've observed through my husband's career. Not necessarily for him, I'm not throwing him under the bus, but I'm just saying, it seems like the more but that's beside the point. And honestly, if you're making $1 million a year, hopefully if you've done it well and you're at KW and you've got the models, you are working less. You'll never work more and harder than your first year, first 18 months. But if you do, it pays off. I'm getting ahead of myself, but I am just telling you, you work for you. So be a good boss and be a good employee because you are making $1 million if that's what you want. And if you say to yourself, Melissa, I don't believe that I could make $1 million in this business. You come see me afterwards and we will schedule a time for you to have a business consultation with me and I will make you a roadmap on how to do that, okay? So I don't care how much money you want to make, I'll build you a business plan to get there. All right, the other habits, always be looking for talent. You are at a company that rewards you for being a talent scout. You already see them. You're in an Uber. That person should not be driving an Uber. They're the nicest, funniest, most magnetic personality. You know they'd crush it in real estate. Friend, don't get out of that car without giving them your business card and saying, hey, you'd be great in my industry. Let's have a conversation sometime. I'd like to treat you to coffee. This is the company that will reward you for having that conversation because we have something called profit share. I'm not going to get into that. Most of you know about it, but always be looking for talent. The other thing is, at some point, you're going to need talent on your team. So always be looking for your own talent. And if you don't need talent, somebody does. I'm going to tell you right now, there is a serious talent shortage. So be on the lookout. Another habit, be kind to co-ops. I don't care how ugly, how unruly, how unprofessional, how unscrupulous they are, be kind to them. We can always choose kindness. Now, do you need to report them sometimes? Yes, we need to do more of that, but always be kind to them. Help everyone you can. I don't have time to tell too many stories, but because I have a story for everything. But one time I helped somebody reach out to me, and when I started at Keller Williams in Austin, Texas, it's where Keller Williams was founded. So literally, a quarter of a mile up the road was Keller Williams headquarters, okay? So sometimes people would reach out to me and say, hey, I'd really like to get a job at Keller Williams. And I'm like, okay, so selling houses or, no, I want to get a job, in their marketing department. I'm like, okay, well, I don't really have a lot of connections over there because I'm just like go down here and we'll pee on selling houses. But I did actually have some connections and somebody reached out to me in my networking group and I already knew he wasn't going to use me to buy houses because he was doing it on his own. And he said, I have a friend and she'd like to be an attorney. Could you make a connection? And I actually had that moment where I was like, I don't have time for this. No. I was like, I do actually know. I mean, it's a long shot, but I know somebody there. All right, I'm doing it. I made the connection and they were so grateful. And I mean, I'm going to get to the punchline again. The punchline is they turned into a $700,000 buyer, you know, down the road. They used me and referred tons of business to me after that. So that turned into something, and it was just a choice. And it was we've all had those moments where we're like, I almost didn't do the right thing. Why? There you go. Because I thought in the moment I couldn't see far enough. And it doesn't matter. It didn't matter if that didn't turn into anything. Sometimes it's just the effort. I'm bearing my soul to you people. Don't do what be better than me. And then follow up. Fortune is in the follow up. I can't stress that enough. Have a system. Build a checklist. You have got to follow up with these people. It takes a lot of time to get a lead. It takes a lot of time to get somebody to call you. When they do, follow up with them. Go above and beyond. Okay.
So you're only on one page.
Don't talk about it. I'm talking fast. Sphere. Here's the thing about your sphere. Build it and feed it. I give commentary about every little bullet I have. I'm not going to. Build your sphere, feed your sphere. Andy and Leslie Peters talk about this. It's a race to 1,000. If you do not have 1,000 people in your database, get there as fast as you can. And I'm talking about 1,000 Mets. So does that mean you need to go meet 10 more people every day? Yeah, you probably do. But that can be super fun. Like, go meet people. So it's a race to 1,000, and here's why. Paths in the math. 10% ROI. So of those 1,000 people in your Met database, we're talking a tiny bit about a 36 touch, but if you've got them on a 36 touch, meaning that they're getting something of value from you or hearing from you 36 times in a year, which sounds like a lot, but it really isn't. We know that because Gary Keller studies the success of people and shows and gives us a roadmap, 10% ROI. So what does that mean? 1,000 Mets in your database, how many closings will you have that year?
100.
100, just from your sphere. Your sphere should only be 40% of your business. I know that's contradictory to what we think. We think, well, 100%. No, and the only reason I say that, and this is a whole different class, the only reason I say that is because if your sphere is 100% of your business, you're missing opportunities. So great, however many transactions that was, that's awesome, but you have missed opportunities to get new business. You're not leveraging open houses to the level that you should be, and that's why you need a team member in order to get that extra money. But that, again, is a whole other class. All right, so segment your sphere and aim to meet lots of people every year. Maybe you're somebody who wants to take, and this is about knowing yourself. So maybe you're like B2B. I'm a business person. I want to connect with other business people. So I'm going to join networking groups with other business people. I'm going to be very intentional about it. I'm going to go to a networking group and I'm going to say, I'm going to meet 5 people. We have an hour and a half, some sort of a happy hour or whatever. We have an hour and a half. I'm not going to talk to the same person that I already know for 45 minutes of it. No, I'm here to network. I'm not going to leave until I've talked with, have good conversation with 5 people. And do not, for a second, start talking about real estate until they do. They're gonna ask you what you do, you're gonna tell them, and then they're going to ask questions, and they will drive the conversation, and all you do is be responsive and you ask them more questions. Also a whole other class, networking, super fun, but there's a good way of doing it. And this is my thing. StrengthsFinder, number 1, maximizer. And you don't have to be a maximizer in order to benefit from maximizing, because you got people in your world who are maximizers, but I say anything worth doing is worth doing it all the way. If you're gonna do an open house, do it all the way. Get a buyer or 2 and a listing every single time you do an open house, or don't bother. We know that open houses aren't what sell as houses, okay? So don't give up a Saturday if you don't have a high expectation that you're gonna get business from. All right. So B2B, also affiliates. You've got title, you've got mortgage, you've got inspection companies, insurance companies. You are feeding these people's families. Make no mistake about it. You are, most of you are loyal and you're giving business over and over again to these people. It's okay for you to have expectations of them. And I suggest the minimum expectation is that they give you 4 referrals in a year. And they're gonna say, I work with a lot of realtors. Yeah, but I gave you 20 pieces of business last year. So I'm gonna expect 4 back. That is reasonable. And if it's not you, I'll find someone who's hungry enough to make that deal with me. Because here's the secret. The secret is that none of your peers are asking for it. So they're just gonna swap and start giving those referrals to you instead. Nobody else has that expectation. So be the person who has that expectation. Know your worth. Also, Maybe they can offer something else. If they are a dynamic person, ask them to teach a class to your people. You know, put together something together, or just do other networking. Have them introduce you to other highly productive professionals. But understand that those are your business partners. And if you don't want to be in business with them, there are plenty of people who would like to be in business with you. Okay? Be seen. Create a networking group. This is an idea. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't. This training room, the conference rooms, they are yours to use. So you have space, you have coffee. Yes, it's Folgers, but you know what? If you put enough cream in it, it's okay. You know, and people do not come for the coffee, but they would be sad if we didn't have it. So there's coffee. You know, but like use the space and get people in the office. Build the habit with them of being here and like, oh, this is a fun place. Invite them to classes. Do you know how many times we teach a class that is a business class, really? We talk about houses a lot, we talk about real estate, but it's really, all of this really is a business class, you know, so invite people. I would suggest, again, remember, deep breath, I'm not telling you to do all these things, but I'm gonna suggest that you volunteer for 3 organizations a year. Volunteering is a really great way for you to meet awesome people. If you want to have fewer jerks in your life, be around really awesome people. And I'm going to tell you what, crummy people don't tend to volunteer places. They just don't. And so go volunteer places, build relationships. Again, you're not going in with the expectation that you're going to get business out of this, but I'm talking about this as a business tactic. I'm saying that as a good business person, you should give back to your community. You should be a part of the community. You should be supporting the organizations in your community. It's just a good business practice. And you should be intentional to utilize that to build relationships so that you can help each other grow. Because most of the people you're volunteering with are also professionals. And how can I help you? Let's help each other out. And if it got a little stale, man, I've been volunteering at this art council for 15 years, or I've been on my board, homeowners association for 15 years. Friends, they all know you. If they're gonna use you, they're gonna use you. Maybe it's time to move on. So like I would say every 2 to 3 years, maybe find a different thing that gets you excited. Unless you're just super, super excited, but you aren't, don't get in a rut. That's what I say. That's just good advice from Cheryl. If there's ever a need, if there's ever a need to type up notes or to organize something with a large group, do it. Jessica, putting you on the spot, didn't tell you I was gonna ask you about this. Your high school reunion, I believe it was. Weren't you the person who had to emote all the crap and stuff?
Yeah, I put it together.
Yeah, put together the high school. Okay, some of us were sitting here going, that sounds horrible. But you went to high school here, right? Yes. Yeah, obviously. And so these people, most of the people who are gonna come to a high school reunion live close by, and they are all potential clients. And now she's emailing them and got their email address, and she has all their contact information. Oh.
And one of them is on Zoom.
What?
No
Get out
way.
of here. And I feel like that was a really good use of your time. So I just think if there's ever a reason, if ever somebody needs to step up and take the notes for something, you're getting people's contact information. And you're showing them that you're useful and helpful. Okay? Okay, your top 25. So this is again about your sphere. So you need to segment your sphere and have special things just for your top people. So I would say top 25, I mean, it could be, maybe you've got a sphere of, maybe you've got 1,000 people in your Mets, and that probably is gonna be a higher number, but maybe start with the top 25 people. Do something special just for them. And I want you to really, really focus on identifying the people. And if you only have 2 of these, that's fine, start there. Think of the people in your world who are most social, they're the most connected, they're beloved, they're positive, they walk into the room and it lights up. They're the people that they know everybody and everybody wants to be around them. We can all think of a person like that. Build a solid, strong relationship with that person or those people and make them the stars of your business. Ask them for advice. Ask them to make connections. Schedule dinners with them and say, hey, would you bring a couple of friends? I'm gonna bring a couple of friends. I think we could all use, more connections in this world right now. Let's just, I'm having a dinner party. I want you to invite a couple of people. And we're just gonna all meet each other. It's just super fun. Ask for, okay, and tell them, guess what? The people who are super bubbly and I love everybody. I can tell you right now with 100% certainty that their love language is praise and adoration. So if you tell them how much you adore them, me, oh my gosh, yay! Yes, I will do anything for you, okay? And praise them publicly. 90% of the time, they will really love public praise. So, oh my gosh, thank you so much, Scotty, for, referring me to the Smiths. They were so fun to work with. It's fabulous as you are. Oh, yes. And then, and then they probably have 4,000 friends on Facebook, and they all saw that, and, and just some funner words. One thing that I love is this idea to send treats to the office. Now, are people in offices anymore? I don't know, but maybe some of them are. If you have anybody, if that bubbly, awesome person works in an office, you just won the lottery. So whenever they do anything nice for you, send them something to their office, because as soon as somebody walks in, they got flowers on the desk, or they got like this giant cake that they brought to the break room. Who brought the cake? Oh, that was Scotty. Her realtor brought her a cake. She's so great. Oh my gosh, And like Scotty, in this case, I'm gonna keep picking on you right there. Plus you are, definitely a bubbly person. And so, you're going to, like, the bubbly person is gonna talk that up and be like, and they're probably gonna post it on social media. Oh, my realtor sent me a cake. What? Like those crumble cookies? Forget about it. Like, please don't send them to me, but send them to other people because they're real fun and not too expensive and whatever. And then this was something that was super impactful for me. Now, again, some of you are not people. I mean, most of you are, but some of you don't recharge by being around more people. So this might sound like just a nightmare, but this was something that I did in my business, and it was very powerful. I hosted small dinner parties and I connected people. So, I just made it a thing. Like every month, I just hosted a dinner party at my house and I invited different people. And I always made sure to invite people who I was pretty sure didn't know each other. And I was the connection point. And at least one of them had to have done business with me. Because inevitably it will turn into, man, Melissa helped. So how do you know Melissa? Oh, she sold us our house. Oh my God. And then they're gonna start bragging on you because you fed them, and so it's all good. But the dinner parties is a good thing. Okay, we're gonna talk about tools. Oh my gosh, guys. The GPS and 411, you have got to use both of those. That is definitely a whole other class. I think I've talked about this before. I've got a one notebook method, okay? These are my notebooks. I go through them pretty quickly, but I buy the same notebook every time, and you will always see me carrying a notebook, but I have a one notebook method, and I probably could teach another class all about this. But there is a way that I structure my notebook. I don't have post-it notes. I don't have other things. In fact, I'm going to suggest to you that you get a one notebook and you take your best nuggets from the class and you put them in here. But everything is in here. At the front of the book, I always write the dates. So I write the start date, and then when I finish with it, the end date. And I can't tell you how often this has been helpful to me. So anything, client meetings. I went to a class and took a bunch of notes, doctor's appointments. I mean, like whatever, everything goes in the same note. This is my whole life in a notebook. And then occasionally I go through, especially if it was a class, and I highlight things. I've got a system. Like green means this is something like knowledge-based, and pink means that this is something client-based that I need to, recruit. And so I just go back through, and then all the rest of it is just like random notes that didn't matter. But now, anytime I can go back and reference something, okay? That, again, whole different conversation. But I would just say staying organized is going to be really, really key. The back page of your notebook, I'm going to suggest this for those of you who don't have an admin, and even if you do, that's your what not to do list. Whenever you come across something that you're like, man, my life would be infinitely better if I never had to do this thing again. Or, I know I could probably pay somebody $15 an hour to do this. And here I am doing this for the next 4 hours, and probably it would only take them an hour because I'm probably talking about a high school person. So make your not to-do list and just put everything on there that you don't need to be doing. And then always have a to-do list, because you're gonna have your 411, your GPS, that's what's gonna keep you focused on achieving your goals, but you will always have those ideas. And if you don't just write them down, they're gonna live in your brain and bother you. So you've got to have a place so that you can say to yourself, don't bother about that, because I've got it written down on my to-do list. I will not forget it. It's just not that important. okay? It's not that important right now, but you'll always have it, you can go back to it later, and you will save yourself a lot of heartache. Here are some scripts you should master. I'm not giving you the scripts, but these are, you need to find scripts, you need to have something to say to these questions. How's the market? Why should we hire you? Will you lower your commission? Have a reason to make your quarterly care calls. I already gave you one script. How's it going? But maybe there's more of a reason. Maybe you've got a client event coming up. Hey, I'm just calling to follow up. We might list with a family or a friend, family member or a friend. Have something to say to that. And then have scripts for while you're at open houses. Ways that you can engage with people and reasons to follow up with people. Okay?
What was the first one?
How's the market?
Thank you.
How's the market? Why should we hire you? Will you lower your commission? Quarterly care calls. We might list with a family member or friend, and then scripts for open houses. All right, some things kind of a little bit more industry specific. So preview homes every week. When you're brand new to the business, because some of you are not even licensed yet, and some are newer, and we've got everybody from all aspects of the business. When you're newer to the business and you don't have a listing appointment, you go preview homes. That's what you do. And I would just say, take pictures, and this is for everybody. Maximize your time, okay? So if you're gonna go preview homes, especially if you are farming a neighborhood, friends, you better know every single, you need to know what's for sale in your neighborhood if you think you're gonna be the mayor of it, okay? You know, quote unquote mayor. Take pictures, post them on social media, tell stories, call or text people. Like if you know you're gonna go preview homes in a certain neighborhood and you've got a friend who lives there, give them a call or a text afterwards. Hey, I'm gonna be in your neighborhood later on today, previewing, you know, the house on Banana Street, you know, whatever. Take pictures of neighborhood amenities. Even if you don't need it right now, like, would be great to have it. And then maybe at some point you're gonna do a newsletter, you're gonna feature a neighborhood, or you've got a listing in that neighborhood. And you can say, hey, I've got a listing coming soon, professional photos are coming, but you know, look at how cute their splash pad is, whatever. Okay. Marketing, we're gonna move on to marketing. Oh, no, we're not. Okay, CMAs, sorry. CMAs, this is a great habit. 2 CMAs a day. That is a great habit. What happens when you do 2 CMAs? And I'm not saying that you have somebody, maybe you do. Obviously, they take priority if somebody actually says, I can do a CMA. Do 2 CMAs a day, and that start with your top people, top 25 people. They for sure need to get a CMA from you. And you just say, hey, as your real estate advisor, I want to be sure that you're kept up to date on what's going on. The market is crazy. I'm going to send you some information if you want more, blah, blah, blah. All right, so 2 a day, and then add it to your calendar. So if I did, you know, John Smith today, in 6 months, I'm going to go out on my calendar, and that's a very low-tech way of doing it. I'm sure you can do it in Command easier, but this is what I would suggest. Just go 6 months out, 6 months to the day, and now whoever I sent these 2 CMAs to today, I'm going to put them in my calendar for 6 months down the road. Now, after 6 months, I just have, this thing is, I got a flywheel in motion, and every day from now on, I know who I need to send my 2 CMAs to. And it might mix up a little bit, and some days you might send 3, because eventually you're gonna have more clients, and some people might move off the list, but you know, you at least have something. Something's better than nothing. 80% is better than, you know, not doing it. Listen to podcasts. So I think that, you know, always learning is great. So the One Thing podcast, think like a CEO podcast, those are great. Those are Keller Williams, you know, I guess people from Keller Williams are doing those. Empire Builders is another one. Bigger Pockets, Buffini, Tom Ferry, those are other, you know, industry, and you might have favorites. I also just really love like Craig Groeschel's leadership podcast. So, you know, it doesn't always have to be leadership, or it doesn't always have to be real estate specific, but I mean, when I'm getting ready in the morning, I'm listening to something, I'm learning. If I'm driving anywhere, I mean, you can't get anywhere in less than like 10 minutes, right? So just listen to something. And I would say that this is especially true when you're brand new, but it's always true. Come to every team meeting. There's no way that if you come and you're engaged in a team meeting that you won't walk away with at least one nugget. And that's all I expect. That's all I expect from any hour of time that I spend, is that I walk away with one nugget. And I know that's hard to believe, because it's like, we're taking a lot of notes today. I only care about the one nugget that's gonna change things for you, right? And so just coming with that mindset. All right, CMA, or marketing. I'm gonna start cutting a few things out of here. Leverage the KWPR events. We have 2 to 3 client events every single year that you can leverage. We pay for it, we plan it, we handle all the logistics of it, we create a cute invitation for you to send out, we give you a call plan, we write you a script. I mean, we do all of the heavy lifting. All you need to do is have it in your calendar far enough in advance to really take advantage of it. The worst thing that happens is you don't take advantage at all. The second worst thing is that you send out an invitation the week before it happens. Because you have 4 touches that you can do. You can send a save the date. You can text to say, hey, invitation's on its way. I definitely want you to be there. As soon as you get the invitation, let me know if you're gonna be there. Send a cute invitation in the mail. Follow up the day before. Hey, I'm so excited you're gonna be coming. You know, looking forward to seeing you. Follow up afterwards, especially for the ones who missed it. Really sorry that you weren't able to make it. These are just reasons to call people, right? Like, everybody said, you know, we talked about that, like, give me some reasons to call people. Well, there you go. There's like 4 or 5.
Do we have one on the calendar?
Yes, December 4th, Pictures with Santa. Saturday. Pictures are gonna be awesome. I'm believing COVID will be over by then, but I've been saying that for 18 months. So, but it's COVID friendly. So it'll be like last year. If you were here last year, it was so adorable. So we're doing that again. Outdoor, and we'll have like little stations. It's great. All right, invite someone to every class you take. Now, we happen to be a company that rewards you, as I said, for you know, bringing people, other realtors into the company. So for sure, invite co-op agents. But you might even, like I said, you know, you might invite somebody to a class, like if we're teaching a business planning clinic, which is coming up, invite a business-minded client. That's a great way for you to build and deepen a relationship, and it's something that doesn't cost you a thing. Teach a class. So maybe buying your first home, buying your first investment property, using rentals to fund college, or using rentals to fund your retirement. Every month, teach a class. Maybe that, you know, some of you are gonna say, wow, I love that idea. And some of you are gonna say, oh, that's a miserable idea, we never do that. Again, I'm gonna remind you, this isn't, you know, a roadmap for you to do all the things. But if you love to teach people, that is probably your thing. And I'm gonna tell you what, if you start posting that on Craigslist, and you post it on Eventbrite, and you make it a free class, and you partner up with a lender, and you say, hey, you invite your people, I'll invite my people, and we're gonna talk to people about buying their first investment property. Whoa. You now are helping people change their lives. That's pretty darn awesome. That will come back to you. You will be rewarded for that. And leverage other people, leverage lenders, leverage other speakers, leverage your TL. I've got classes that I could teach your people. Cutco people. They're very good at presentations, and they tend to have something good to teach people. Bring a Cutco person in. The Chick-fil-A owner, every single Chick-fil-A owner, they have a very unique business model, and they teach a class. They will come out and teach a class for you. Maybe you've seen a vendor do a great presentation. Follow up with that person. That is a great person for you to know. So you don't necessarily have to be the one to teach it. But best yet would be for you to be the person to teach classes. And we've got, just at KW, we've got Quantum Leap, The One Thing, and 6 Personal Perspectives that have nothing to do with real estate, but are all about changing people's lives. So I can guarantee you that if, you know, Thomson Reuters, if you've got a connection there and you come in and you teach a class for their staff, what an awesome opportunity for you to build relationships with professionals by pouring into them and not even, you're not even, it's not a sales pitch, it's talking about real estate. I happen to be the real estate agent. This is something from my company. This is from Keller Williams. Wow.
What were the names of those classes again? Please?
Quantum Leap, The One Thing, 6 Personal Perspectives.
The One Thing is huge. I have conversations all the time with people in your parenting, in your marriage, in your faith, in anything, cleaning the house. Focus on the bathrooms, because that's what people see, or the kitchen, you know what I mean?
Yes. Oh my gosh, that is so true. It's a great gift. It's an attractive book. It's a fun to read book. It's nothing to do with real estate, so it's a great book to give people. Oh, it's Marquez's Chicken Cross the Road. Oh. Okay, all right, I had a whole thing about 36 Touch. That's a whole other class. I'm sure Sarah's gonna teach it again soon, so we'll just, someday, on 36 Touch. Oh yeah. It's probably not on the calendar just yet, but we'll get it on there because she teaches it well. All right, so some tactics. Preview homes every week. You just got to preview the homes. And if you're a newer agent, invite a top agent in the market center to come with, assemble a group of other agents. This is what I did when I was in Austin. We just got a group together and we went and previewed properties together, and we all took turns setting up the showings and then being the agent, so we could practice with each other. But even if you've been selling forever and ever and ever, if you have a neighborhood that you want to farm, you better have seen every house in there eventually. And the best way to see every house in there is to go to the open houses and to preview properties. So either way, make sure you see all the houses. I would just say that geographic farming is not necessarily the best thing for everybody, but if it is something you're interested in, start with your own neighborhood. Host the neighborhood night out or some other neighborhood event. You can get vendor partners for anything. Do a puzzle swap, do a book swap. I mean, there's lots of different things that you can do that have nothing to do with real estate, but just solidify you as, you know, a helpful, awesome person. Support every garage sale. I love the idea of having like a little garage sale survival bag, and when you see somebody setting up, especially in your neighborhood or a neighborhood you're farming, first of all, a lot of times when people are doing a garage sale, what are they prepping for? Moving, big time. So dropping off something really, you know, fun, and then even maybe, you know, maybe it's just like a couple of cans of bubbly water and a couple of some granola, whatever. Just like, hey, it's gonna be a long day. Here you go. Here's some treats. You know, I'm a neighbor. Business cards on it. But then maybe take it a step further. Hey, I've just assembled a little list of like resources that might be helpful to you. Here are some places you can call to donate the stuff that doesn't sell. Whatever. Just give them some additional resources. Be helpful. Create a Facebook group for that neighborhood. Send CMAs to neighbors, okay? If you want to farm a neighborhood, be sure you got them on, maybe, and I would suggest like maybe you mail one in January to everybody, and then in July, the 1st of July, you go door knock the other CMA, and you give them a small flag. Or you put, if some people do like the flags at the driveway or whatever, and then just drop off a CMA on their doorstep, you know, in a little bag or whatever. Just an idea. All right. Page. Agents, create a formal and generous agent referral program. So what I started was, and this is not novel, it may have been a little bit more novel at the time, but I created a very nice marketing piece, and I sent it out to every agent I ever met. And I let them know that I have a very formalized referral program. Your first referral you send me, I pay you 30%. Second referral, and then I track that person. I put their name on it, and so I spelled it out. And so like they would continue to get money from that referral. If those people moved again or they referred me to somebody, I continued to give them referrals from that. So in addition to that, when you do build your referral network, and this is the #1 underutilized tool in Keller Williams, is the referral network. 180,000 business partners you have, who most of them don't live in Minnesota and can't sell in Minnesota. So you need to be their person of choice. And how do you do that? You start to build a relationship. And you definitely look for them at family reunion, you build connections there, but you can just utilize the network every day. One of your things that you need to do every day is to build relationships with people, including other agents. Sending a monthly newsletter to your agent referral network with something of value. And this is kind of my rule of thumb for newsletters, especially if you're sending to, well, really to anybody. Make me laugh, make me cry, make me money. Okay, so be funny, give them something touching, heartwarming, and give them some tips that they can, you know, be more successful. That's just good rule of thumb for any newsletter, I think. Share notes. So you went to family reunion. You took a bunch of notes. As you're meeting people, say to them, and family reunion is a KW event, say to the people you meet, give me your business card if you want me to send my notes after I take a ton of notes and I put them all together. If you want me to share my notes with you after family reunion, give me your business card. Guess what? Even just that alone, if they have a Minnesota referral, you are going to be the first person that pops in their head because they met you and you did something really sweet to them. All right. For listing appointments, here's a couple of things that I would absolutely do, knowing what I know now. Bring 3 data points to start off. If you aren't a data-heavy person, you can trick people into thinking you are by coming in with 3 data points. Here's something about the market. Here's something about your neighborhood. Here's something about, you know, the industry. Cool. Now you're gonna learn a lot about them. If they start asking you questions, they might be a data person. You're gonna need to brush up on your data game. But have 3 points of data that you can talk about. Assume you have the listing. All of your language should be assuming that you already have it. You're not talking to them about everybody else that they're gonna be interviewing. You are assuming that they are not interviewing anyone else. And think about it as an offer appointment. Diffuse the bomb before it goes off, meaning, hey, I'm gonna guess that you've gotten some offers from Opendoor or Zillow. Have you gotten a cash offer? Just ask. No, never say, oh, okay, well, don't be surprised if you get one. You know, they're sending letters. Just want you to know that I can also give you a cash offer. So some of you might be sitting in the room saying, how could I give them a cash offer? I don't have $400,000. Well, Gary Keller tells us that we should go into every listing appointment with the thought of, do I want this home in my portfolio? And if it's not you, I can assure you there are probably 10 or 12 investors in this office alone that would give you a cash offer for whatever listing. Price fixes everything. So I mean, unless there's just some real wild, there's a good chance. And if there is something real wild, you might not want the listing anyhow. So I really can't think of even what that would be. But go into it with, I've got a cash offer for you. I've got a concierge option, meaning, you know, if you would put $20,000 into this house, I know we could sell it for another 80. Well, guess what? If I had $20,000, I had already done the floors and done the kitchen and done the this and done the that. Perfect. I get that. So what we have is an option for you to pay 1.5% extra on that extra home improvement. So utilizing your resources, you've got Knock, you've got other lenders who can do some of these things for you. This is not that class, but going with a cash offer, a concierge option, and a traditional offer. Now you've just planted a seed in their mind that you are a very helpful person. They don't need to go to someone else. They don't need to talk to someone else about their cash offer. All right, we are at the end of the class. Perhaps there will be a part 2. What questions does anybody have?
What were all the sections that we missed?
I should have told you. We missed open houses, wealth building. Well, wealth building is really, what I have for you on that is, if you really want to grow your profit share, so how about this? If anybody needs to go somewhere, you are free to leave, my feelings are not hurt. If you want, I'm gonna fly through, I'm gonna take an extra 5 minutes, and those of you on Zoom, if you need to scoot, feel free to scoot. But I'm gonna fly through a couple more things, and it's being recorded, so you can always watch it at the end. So, for wealth building, and I'm gonna very specifically, profit share, have a co-op agent follow-up plan. Every time you do a deal with somebody, whatever it is that you wanna do, just make sure you do it every time. Thank you card. Every time you're gonna take a class, when the training calendar comes out, you circle the classes you're gonna be at, put them in your calendar, and you immediately invite 5 co-op agents to each of the classes you're gonna be going to. Hey, I saw this class is coming up, I'm gonna be at it, please let me know if you wanna join me. Host your own masterminds, or invite them to our masterminds. Set up coffees with them. Offer to do networking. Hey, I think we could all do a better job building relationships across brands. Could we get together? I'd like to hear more about your business. I would like to meet you. Take a real genuine care in them. And don't talk about KW at all. Just don't. Just build a relationship. If they ask you, then you can answer questions, but it doesn't have to be, you're just gonna build a relationship. And with newer agents, I think that you would serve yourself well to always have a stack of note cards and business cards with you wherever you go. And so if you're sitting in the Caribou and you're like, man, that guy was so engaging, he is missing his calling. He should be in real estate. Or he'd make a great showing partner, and I know HHG is looking for a showing partner, or whatever. Or they'd make a great front desk person. I know they're hiring a part-time person at the front desk. Write them a card. Man, you are really, your customer service is a 10. I just want to applaud you. And I would love to talk to you. I think you'd be great in my industry. I'd love to have a conversation with you sometime. And just, put your business card in there and leave it for them. Here's a way to up that. Send a note to their manager. If you catch somebody doing something really exceptional, which is kind of harder to come by these days, send it, just the manager of the Starbucks, Allie. Allie was sensational. Be very specific. Put your business card in there. At the worst, what happens is somebody got a compliment and was probably made to feel better, but also your business card is now in there. If that Starbucks manager doesn't have a realtor, well, You've just shown that you're a person who, you know, is kind. So, you know, you never know what can come from that, but have the cards with you so you can do it. Follow up with people, invite them to events. I say posting quarterly, a hiring post on Facebook. We're hiring, who do you know? Blah, 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 blah. You can utilize, I mean, always there's agent opportunities. Always there are team member opportunities. And almost always, you know, there's other, you know, opportunities within the market center as well. So if you post quarterly, number one, it shows people that you are growing. They're gonna assume that it's you that's hiring, and then if you say to them, hey, you know, share this with people, that just, now in their mind, wow, that person is super successful, they're already really growing. And then I would say, do a quarterly shadow a realtor day. Because here's the thing, Gary Keller tells us all the time, the best and the brightest in real estate, as we look ahead 5 years from now, they're not even in the business today. Remember, all of you in the room had your first day at some point, right? So like we all start somewhere, and so we have a great opportunity with Profit Share to build some lasting residual income there. Okay, that is the wealth piece. Wisdom. All right, I'll tell you my wisdom. Direction is more important than speed. So your GPS and your 411 are gonna point you in the right direction. But I'm gonna tell you what, if you're running 100 miles an hour in the wrong direction, you're never gonna get where you need to go. Yes. Something that I know for sure is that if you're becoming something more, the future will be more demanding than the past. So don't be surprised when it gets harder. It will. It will get a little bit harder. It will get more demanding because you're growing something. You're building something. It won't be hard forever though. Discipline will carry you when motivation can't. Okay, so a lot of us wake up feeling super motivated, right? Some of us don't, but everybody has a day where they're not feeling super motivated, and that's when having your time block calendar, having your time block schedule, having your GPS and your 411 will make everything easier, because I don't need to decide. It's Steve Jobs. I don't need to decide what I'm wearing today. I'm wearing a black turtleneck and black jeans. I've been tempted. You know, but if you just know what you need to do every day, and part of that happens, when does your success for today start? Last night. So prep yourself for the next day. Okay, who am I calling? I've made my list. Okay, here's what I'm doing. Now, when you wake up and you start your day, you're not spending half an hour figuring out what you're doing for the day. You already have your plan. You can just get right into it. And I will tell you what fixes low motivation every single time is getting busy. Just get after it. Go for it. Just start doing something and you will be better. You'll feel better. And finally, the last little piece of motivation, if you will do all of the things that most people won't do, you can have whatever you want. You can do whatever you want for the rest of your life. Say it again. If you'll do the things that most people won't do, you can do whatever you want for the rest of your life. And I can attest to that. I can just tell you with 100% certainty that doing the hard things, especially in this business, I promise you, if you work really, 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 really hard for 18 months, you'll have a foundation. And that this isn't just for new agents. Some of us need to build stronger habits, a stronger foundation. We need to shore things up. Probably won't take you 18 months. But if you can just get consistent with some things, like your 36 touch, that doesn't happen overnight. When you start marketing to your sphere, you don't all of a sudden get 10% return on investment, the next day. It takes a year. But everything done, the things that you do consistently will 100% pay off over time. Because this isn't just stuff where it's just like, well, maybe this works. I don't know if it works. This is proven stuff. This is the stuff that works. Any other thoughts, questions? It's gonna leave time for ahas. So the last page of your notes, I want to just give you a little bit of thoughts here. So as I mentioned in my notebook, I go back through and I highlight the things that are like super great. So I'm going to suggest that you go back through your notes and you look for the 5 or 10 at the most, but 5 or 10, like, what are the top things that you're walking away with that you feel like were most impactful? And then from there, you're going to say, okay, what's my action plan? Only 3 at most. 1 is fine. Up to 3 things. What will I stop doing, start doing, or do differently? And you don't have to have one of each. And then you're gonna circle the one of the 3 that would have the greatest impact on you. And then you're gonna turn that into that's your break it down. So you're gonna circle the one thing, and maybe it's, I need to plan, I need to start planning my day the night before. Okay, break that down. What do I need to do? I'm gonna set a timer on my phone. I'm gonna do blah, 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 blah. And then this is your must-do list. You're gonna take things over here, and from all of this, you're gonna create your must-do list, and then ask yourself, what's the one thing I can do right now to move myself forward? That's huge. So take an action. If you're serious, if you learned anything from this class at all, if there was anything that stuck out to you as super helpful, take action toward whatever that thing is. Take a little action toward it today, before the end of the day. Okay?
Love it.
Thanks, guys. Yay, so fun.
Will you teach that again and block off 2 hours?
Yeah. Or I'll just carve some things out or something. Yes. Thank you for being here. Thank you guys for being on Zoom. Appreciate all of you. All right.
Thank you.
Yes.
Please take a little bit confused, a little bit inspired. Yeah. I love that idea that you gave about Shadow a Realtor Day.